with Andrea. Thank you.
Yeah, I think this is the new one.
Hey, everyone.
Okay.
Okay. Are you going to include the tween space in your report?
I'm going to mention it, yeah.
Okay. So we're in summertime, unofficially or officially, depending on your view. But before we, can we go to the next slide? Before we move on to the summer programs and outreach, I'm going to talk a little bit about our first What's the Big Idea? So we hosted dozens of What's the Big Idea programs with the theme of Your Place is Here throughout the year, like special guest story times, Magic the Gathering meetups, and Mahjong instruction. But we wrapped up with a few signature programs to bring departments and generations together. The intergenerational paint night was ages 12 and up, and they had a blast painting cherry trees and begged for more programs like it. We had 3 Taylor Swift fan sessions, 2 bracelet making classes for teens and children, and a trivia night for adults with lots of music videos, and a 7-foot-tall Taylor Swift cutout that you may have seen in the lobby that was auctioned off to, I believe, a 12-year-old. So it found its perfect forever home. Our animal extravaganza was sort of a petting zoo plus charity fundraiser plus animal education plus adoption event. It brought in a lot of young families and new faces. We had over 300 people, 2 ponies, 3 dogs, 4 bunnies, 15 snakes, 7 nonprofit partners, and we donated over 100 pounds of pet food to the MSPCA animal shelter.
That's great.
I know, it really was an extravaganza. We were not exaggerating. The Coral Reef Crochet Project, we taught 5 classes. In-house, we had about 47 unique attendees, probably a few more. We sent home 50 kits with the hooks and the yarn and patterns so that people could knit or crochet sea creatures at home. We had about 75 people contribute to the little critters. Oh, I left my critters. Hold on. Wait. I have a few critters to pass around. Brain coral and a snail. Yeah, pass it.
I love it.
So great. So we have about over 200 finished projects that are up in our studio right now. You kind of have to fight through the teenagers studying for exam cram tonight, but it will be up throughout the whole summer. So for next year, we're waiting to hear back about the Dig-In grant, that's sort of gardening, green space. And if we get that, that will just take the place of What's the Big Idea. If we don't get it, we'll just take that sort of green programming and use it for our big idea. So that will run September through May again next year. Okay, next, summer reading. So this kicks off on Friday. That's the last day of school. So I have to put that back. Can't forget that. For children, the theme is Stick with Summer Reading, and it's all based on sticker prizes. There's also the giraffe named Stretch. What's the giraffe's name? The huge giraffe will be hidden around town, and if kids find that, they can come in and get sticker prizes for that. Full steam ahead for teens, that's science, technology, engineering, arts, and math programming. And then for adults, it's bingo. Very simple. These are a few of our highlights. For children, author Kate DiCamillo will be doing a live presentation online. The Whale Mobile is so big we could not host it at the library, so we are taking it to the Field House High School. And then Vehicle Day, always popular, will be in our parking lot. Teens have combat robotics. Author Dan Santat, a K-pop crafting afternoon. Adults kick off summer reading with summer sizzlers, book talks, and mocktails. The important mocktail decisions are being made right now. Les Sampu and the Dirty Martinis concert comes up in 2 weeks here at the library on the lawn. And author Shelby Van Pelt, who wrote Remarkably Bright Creatures, is going to be presenting in August, live author event.
She's coming live.
She's coming.
So she is online
I'm staying early.
somewhere else. But yes. So I'll tell you all about it. This is the Friends Speaker Series that I talked to you about last time. So it's part of a 1-year subscription to an organization bringing big name speakers to libraries throughout the nation via live online events. And then we have all access to past events. So she's coming to a screen and we will have a watch party in person at the library, but you can also just access it any time from that date forward. So June 3rd was our debut with this subscription. It was a talk on Mars with Matt Schindel, curator of Earth and Planetary Science at the Smithsonian's National Air and Space Museum. Smithsonian curator talks are kind of sprinkled in throughout the content. July is dedicated to summer reading events for children and teens with authors Kate DiCamillo, Max Brillier, Elizabeth Acevedo, and Dan Santat. And the way it works, again, is we get 3 to 4 best-selling authors / thought leaders per month. All events last about an hour unless it's a children's event, and then they're a little bit less. They're live with the Q&A, but available to watch anytime thereafter. Past speakers and topics include authors Amor Tolls of Gentlemen in Moscow and Ruth Ware, the thriller writer, mystery. She's more mystery. Sessions on parenting, nutrition, retirement, wealth inequality, management, and travel advice with Rick Steves. We're all past speakers that we already have access to that. And so you can watch it anytime you have an internet connection, this nice back catalog. Next slide, please. All right, so it's also bike weather, and you might see our book bike out at places like the already happened Lions Club Friends and Family Day, the Reading Garden Club Plant Sale. We're going to be at the YMCA Farmers Market. The Reading Rec family concerts are going to be every Wednesday morning, all of July
And into
early August at the commuter rail and at Sunset Story Times in different parks throughout the town. And that's all I have, but you can ask questions.
That's your running.
That's awesome. Yeah.
looks awesome.
Like a busy summer.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent. So moving from that update, we move on to item 4, the community DEI assessment update.
So I include a few updates since the last time. Last time I was here?
It was when you
Before you
started.
presented to the.
Oh, it's been a while. So I just want to give a few updates and then I'm going to spend a little more time, well, not a lot of time on the assessment. So first, thank you. Just crossed into my 8th month. So I'm excited about that. This is month 8 officially. And it's been a learning process. Obviously, this position is, still kind of learning how to, kind of operate in both spaces in terms of the library as well as the town. And it's really been great, I think, working with various different folks on doing this. So I have a lot of support. So we can go next slide. So these are just kind of some updates since last time we talked, so kind of May, June, and I'll give you a little peek into the, I guess you call our summer on the last slide. So, we're excited, and I'll talk a little bit about this now, our DEI implementation process. So this, as you guys may have known, this kind of assessment was since August of last year. We had our consultants come in. They left us with 2 great products. One, which was a report, which is 42 pages of great reading. I'm not sure, did you guys get that? Okay, maybe? You guys know? Okay.
I'll make sure we send out a copy. print out a copy and send it.
Yep, so 42 pages of fun reading that you're good to read. So this essentially kind of is a way, just kind of a report around all the methodology and all the different data that our consultants captured for us over those kind of 6-7 months. As well as there's a slide deck that really kind of breaks it down, a little easy reading for you in terms of what they found. And there's not a lot of surprises. Again, I'm not going to get into it today, but there's not a lot of surprises from that report. Things that we probably already knew, communities that we knew probably were marginalized, underrepresented, ways that we can go about engaging those communities. So I think that is going to now begin, or it has begun our work around what we're calling this implementation phase, where we're really, as you know, the assessment capture data from both the community and the workforce. And so that's unique. It's not oftentimes done that way. So we got lucky, but it also puts a lot of work on us to kind of now implement the data on both those sides, right? So we have a team already in place that's called an implementation team. That's about 7 to 8 municipal folks that have been on since the project started. They have now continued with us to sign up for more of the action-oriented steps next. So we're leaning on that group to really think about how do we begin to do some kind of learning and training and things on the workforce side, okay? And then we have our pair group, which is really going to help guide us through the community side. So taking all the data and now moving that. So we have a consultant that's coming in that's going to do some work with that pair group. That's going to help us kind of rethink a little bit of our model. Folks know about pair, right? I'm sorry, I'm just rethink that model, about how that model can be more action oriented and stakeholder and community engagement focused. Okay, so excited about that. So again, I leaned into that a little bit heavy now on the front end because I realized I put it there. Any questions about that? Because I think that's the biggest part I wanted to make sure folks knew today is that we're now in this phase around implementing that data. Okay. So again, we're buzzing through. I think this stakeholder engagement stuff is really the secret sauce of what this work looks like, because without these partners, the work is dead on the vine, right? So we need community partners to kind of get involved in this work. So I'm just kind of making my roadshow. I got a couple of slides that I kind of walk around and go do it. So I'm hitting all these different groups. Some of them I'm re-hitting them. And so, again, that's just letting you know some of the ones that we've been hitting over a little more intentional the last 2 or 3 months, okay? But really be a community focus when you get there. So again, we're really thinking about how to engage our work in both the municipal side and the community side. On municipal side, really working with our different departments. There's about 3 departments that have done their own assessments. The health department, the planning department, they've both done their assessments. So we're really working closely with those assessments. We have an intern at the bottom of the page that's a Reading grad, second-year student at Wellesley University down in Connecticut, who's working on a couple of projects. One is to take that first piece and create some cross-cutting work that all 3 of us are working on, right? So there's no use us in a small town gathering much of data and not being clear about where the touch points are. And so we're taking it upon ourselves to say, let's now create some of those touch points so we can begin to share out how this work of DEI touches all aspects of the municipal workforce. So that's our goal with that work. Remember, and I guess not to remind you guys too much, is that this work should never be done in isolation. It also should be done to make sure that everybody understands what their roles are. So I've had the fortune of being at the table of our management department meetings and really being able to begin to share some of how we feel the different departments could be involved in this work. Second thing is there's this coalition now that's just about formalized. There's again, I think I mentioned to you when I first came before you, it's an amazing group of folks that are growing every day across the municipalities, across the state, and they're moving to this kind of more formalization process now. Those are my peeps, right? Those are people I go to, they lean on. We complain about the work that's happening in our municipalities. But we also lift each other up because we realize the work itself is difficult, particularly in this climate. So we have to make sure that we are supporting ourselves around that. Also, again, this work is getting to a place we're going to have a formal document that what we call DEI Guide 2.0. We created DEI 2.1.0 3 years ago when I was doing some work in Andover, and then now 2.0. And that guide is going to be, again, a guide to help municipalities as well as folks like Amy in those roles to help onboard these directors. It's like, it's like gold, okay? And finally, again, I want to thank the trustees. I realize, again, I'll back up to go forward. I recognize that, supporting this work is a lot. It doesn't always directly line up, but there's a lot of alignment there. And I know I kind of came in with saying, okay, I have some needs here. I got some needs. And some of these, for me, they were needs, right? They weren't like, I haven't got to my wants yet. I'm still on my need list. Typically, when you do these implementation projects, you have a strategic plan. Because if you don't have that, you're just in the wind, and wherever it blows, it blows, and that's never going to work for anything. So, I engaged in a partner here, local Reading, to help me work on a strategic plan. And that was, I think, a way to us to move a lot of that work. And so we've been working on for the last couple of months. I'll share with in my reports later around where that work is moving, but we are excited about beginning to now comb through that report, pull out things like action steps, pull out where we need partners, pull out the gaps and just we're doing the exercise like right now, literally tomorrow we have another meeting. And so really combing through that process. So I'm appreciating your support ahead of time around some of that, but I'm also really appreciating what you've already supported with us, particularly financially, because I realized that this was not a part of your original thinking around this office. And so I really appreciate that. Finally, not finally, but I got my intern. She's amazing. She's with us. She found her own funding. And so I'm just still pinching myself every day, realize I got this amazing young person in my office who we don't have to pay for, who got us 26 hours a week, who's enthused about this work. I mean, again, you just can't make that stuff up, right? So again, she's with us pretty much 9 to 4, Monday through Thursday. So you may see her at some point floating around. Last slide. Again, library. Listen, I'm here, right? So I've been plucking myself around different programs, things like that. So 2 things I've actually done. I've done 2 story times. So if I get ready for you guys, 2 story times. Here's me reading to a bunch of amazing young people. And again, we think about DEI. This is also what DEI is. These young people are a very marginalized community. And so they're raising their voice having a voice be raised is important, but also them seeing diversity around them. So I'm signing up for any story times. I did another story time as well. I didn't get a picture of that. And also I was really Sarah Samuels, local Reading resident, who does a lot of financial literacy, wrote a book called Brave in Our Savings, really focused on girls and really helping girls to create financial literacy with girls. So she's also her daughter's in a Girl Scout troop, and they invited me to come speak to their troop about the work of engaging young women in spaces, and then we also do the reading from the book. So again, just really diving as much as I can into the library as well in terms of programming. I'm always again float between floors. So that's my updates. Any questions for me that I can answer for you?
So with the strategic planning meeting, what's the timeframe?
Yeah.
Looking at for the plan, not only for creating the strategic.
So we're hoping to do it.
The library does a 5-year.
We're hoping to do a 3-year plan. That's what our plan is. I mean, I think we're optimistic. We think between 3 and 5 years, but I think in the 3-year plan is probably something that we are landing on now.
Okay.
The 3-year plan.
And we'll budget needs slash wants work into that, as well as the like potential action items and like menu choices in a way.
Say it again.
So I think as part of the plan and action plans, our proposed budget asks
Yes.
to be included and baked into that. Okay.
Most definitely, most definitely. It's a time, that's kind of when you do that, right? You kind of propose, what we feel is going to help the office be sustained. I think there are conversations, again, I appreciate, you folks, I think you kind of had chats with Matt and really around how the office can be sustained beyond the library. Again, this is that time for us to propose what that could look like. There's some other models out there that we're kind of pulling from to show we're not, again, the first office that has sat somewhere and had to move or sat somewhere and didn't have a budget. Again, this is happening. And hopefully as we set forth these things and we're going to be a model like other ones to look and say, how did Redden do it, right? And so I think we're in that phase right now. So definitely proposed on how it can be sustained, I think is the biggest thing.
From the budget point of view, if you don't mind, just one word.
Yeah, jump in, yeah, of course.
From the budget point of view, my goal, my directive is I think I have some numbers for FY26 budget.
Yeah.
For the Office of Equity and Social Justice, which we didn't put in last year because we were in the middle of the assessment. We didn't want to put in some money and then someone would say, why? And we'd be like, we don't know.
Right.
Maybe.
Right.
So the goal right now is to have some fairly sensible numbers,
Yep.
identifiable, useful numbers
Yep.
in the FY26 budget.
That's right.
And it will be, I've been talking with Sharon and Matt about how to set up those budget lines, et cetera. It's a moving target whenever you're introducing new budget items. It's always please don't strike this down, please accept this. But I think the DEI assessment and the work that Albert's doing is going to be the part behind it that will make sense.
That's right. And that's why we're trying to do that strategically. So because that's our gold ticket, right? I mean, the assessment, we're here, it's right from Reading residents. They told us, you told us exactly what the needs are. And so with now just take that, move it into a strategic way and make the office be a strategic thinking office, I think is going to help with when those asks come. Why do we need the ask? Why is it there? So I think we're getting there. FY25 is going to be rough a little bit because we know we don't have any money, so we're going to have to really get through. But I think, again, this plan, I think that we're putting together is also going to help pull in those internal partners. And so we can lean on those internal partners to get through FY25. So that's the reason why I think as we go around, which we're doing literally now, and saying, hey, here's how we can partner. Here's how this work could be. And so we're kind of leaning on those folks. And so I'm excited about those three departments right now: community services, health, and planning as one of our three key partners. Okay.
Do you want to do the next step slide? There was one more slide.
Oh, my next step slide. Hey, I got next step slide. So again, continue implementation process. That's we're combing through that. We're continuing to work around pair and community engagement. That's our meal ticket again. That's where all it's going to work. Engaging community folk on this work is going to be in key. We're creating an Instagram account, which I think is important for us, to really connect with those different communities we're not. So our interns working on that. And finally, we launched our newsletter when we had our previous intern, got dormant a little bit, but we're excited about launching, having that out June 12th. And really begin to share that with folks. So again, you'll be excited about seeing it. I seen a draft today a little bit, so I'm excited about it. So again, we'll get that out to you guys, and so you can see how the work that we're doing. Cool.
And Juneteenth coming up.
Juneteenth. I'm telling you so much. We're excited. I hope you can come down to Juneteenth. Just kind of peek if you can get down there. It's this Saturday. Again, thanks Amy for Amy kind of she did all this stuff to help, and she's like, okay, if you need me, I was like, hey, you did a lot already. You kind of create these timelines and all this. So thank you, Phil, because this is a heavy lift. This is a heavy lift event. And so, yeah, it's this Saturday, 1 to 7, Town Commons. I think we're pretty much where we want to be at, still confirming a few vendors, got about 10 BIPOC vendors right now. I think one should be confirming.
Okay.
Today, I just talked to them. Got a food truck, beer gardens there, got some great performers. I just confirmed our drummer, so yeah, I think we'll pull it off. No one's gonna know that we were kind of frantically pulling.
We're not. We are not frantically pulling
I'm
everything.
frantically pulling.
We're not. No, he's not. No, he's not.
I'm frantically pulling everything in. Nah, it's great. It's a team effort. It's not by myself. It's a lot of folks. I got some really good community people working with me. So we're really excited about the event. So come down, and support it if you can get down there, okay? Appreciate it.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great, all right.
All right.
No more questions. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it. Moving on to item 5, a vote on the local history room policy. So we discussed this last month, the revised language with, I assume, a few minor tweaks is redlined in the packet as well as the clean version. Does anyone have any additional comments, questions, suggestions?
It's good.
Do we need a motion?
We do.
Motion to accept the new history room use and access policy as amended per our last meeting.
Second.
Seconded, all in favor? Motion carries 6-0. Next,
Figuring out how to get it on the screen, but you already voted on it. Never mind.
all right. Item 6, vote, election of officers. Per the bylaws, I believe, and practice, we convene every June to elect new officers, starting with the position of chair. I can lead I don't know if anyone has any comments. I've had a nice term as chair. I've enjoyed it very much, and I'm looking forward to the next person. My suggestion, and I will have a suggestion or I guess nominate first, would be Mr. Pop as the next chair. Would be my suggestion.
Are you making a motion? Or are you just
I'm raising it. I don't.
raising it as an issue?
Want to have
I got it.
nomination to see if there's a discussion prior to
An actual motion.
motion. We can also have a motion and then do it.
I think Cappy would be great.
Yeah. As long as he's willing.
Yeah, I mean, what do I say? There's no motion, so I don't want to second it because that seems odd.
Nominate
Okay. We have a motion.
Second.
We have a motion to nominate Cappy for chair, and we have it seconded. Are all in favor?
I will abstain. Just
Same.
to be.
Carries 5.
Oh, I get that. Wait,
I think
No, I think it is. I think it is immediate, actually.
I'm in for this one.
thank you for that. Well, there are other officers that need to be elected.
that's correct.
So on to the next position, which is technically, what is the second called?
Vice Chair.
Vice chair.
Vice Chair? Vice Chair, do we have any nominations?
Are you?
I'm
I'm going to nominate you.
well, I don't know if anyone else, I'm
Oh, no, Pat.
pretty willing and able. However, if anyone else is interested, I'm not going to step in the way.
I need to take a step back.
I motion to nominate Mr. Pat Egan as Vice Chair.
Second.
Do we have a vote? All in favor? Abstains?
I put an abstention,
Welcome to,
I still get the emails.
next is Secretary.
Secretary.
Secretary, do we have a nomination? I would love Mr. Andrew Grimes to continue.
I can still sign those things. It's not that hard.
We can make it much harder if you
We
want.
can-
Next year when I retire.
To nominate Mr. Grimes for secretary.
Second.
All in favor? Sir. Spill your thunder. If I'm chair, if I may have a moment.
The floor is yours, sir.
Gotta keep
That's
this
my
tradition.
first action. I give you full control.
One thing we did talk out, Monette and I have been dealing with the email for the last couple of years, and 90% of the time it's quiet, and when it's not, right? But we're thinking of maybe opening up or diversifying some people with access to it, and then obviously would
Yeah, I'm not sure how that even
work with it. But I mean, Chair has a bunch. I didn't know if Andrew, you'd be interested, or others like working with, and then we both have access and talk about it. Sure. Because it's really, oh, I'm sorry. We thought we'd rotate it around because it is a good way to interact and go with things. We do try to respond within a couple days, and it's just the Gmail account. I will tell you, we've gotten nothing but spam over the last 2 to 3 months, other than a couple things. But that would be the only.
Do you need a personal, I mean, do you need a Reading, do you reply as a Reading, like, library, Board of Trustees email account, or is it a personal account?
No,
It's a trustee email
It's the
account.
Bolt email account.
Got it.
So I reply from the Bolt email account, but I sign it myself. So I'm not writing on behalf of the board, but I am writing from the Bolt account. And it's clearer that way for FOIA and other things if we ever had any issues.
Yeah.
Most of the responses are, thanks, we received it.
Correct.
And then if there's a big issue, it would be brought before the
Right.
public.
But it is just a matter of monitoring it because things could come into that.
That were important, yeah.
And actually,
We do have, no, we don't.
okay.
So I had it set up to auto forward to my personal email address so that I would see
Right.
if something was
Right,
there.
right.
And then if it's there, I go into the account and
Right.
respond through the account. So it's fairly easy.
Okay.
I'm traveling, so maybe in a couple of weeks, we'll just touch base and we can pass along. I just thought. Okay, thank you.
An unofficial position. Okay. All right, so they're all done.
That was quick. Easy peasy.
Zip, 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 zip.
Next on the agenda, we have a vote on the fiscal year 25 trustee meeting dates.
It's pretty standard. However, we do have a slight, very interesting conundrum in November. If you guys got a little bigger. So Monday, the 11th is a holiday. Tuesday, November 12th, which is the first day of town meeting. Normally that would be on the Monday, but that's been bumped to Tuesday. When town meeting's on Monday, we bumped to Tuesday. So the choice is to move it to Wednesday, the 13th, and we can't move it to Monday, the 18th, because just in case there's subsequent town meeting, you can't schedule it.
It's the MBTA meeting, so I assume it's going to be.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's long as well. So, I mean, I guess you could say you're not going to have one in November, but I guess that's an third option. So option one is to move it to Wednesday, the 13th. Option two is Tuesday, the 19th. Option three would be to not schedule a meeting or pick a completely
So are the
different day.
dates in red dates that are clear? or
Yes,
have a conflict?
those are clear. Those are clear. Those are the clear dates.
So how many people, how many of us are on town meeting? 2, okay. I'm just also being sensitive to if you know it's going to be a very long town
I think
meeting.
this one's going to be really long.
So town meeting would be Tuesday night, Thursday night, and then potentially the following Monday? Is that how it works?
It could go up to, it's gone as long as 5 nights. It's
Rarely,
always very rare. I'd say this one would definitely be 3,
yeah, at
at
least,
least 3.
unless, I mean, there's been a lot of outreach, so maybe it won't, but I would assume it's 3 minimum this time.
And the week of
When is that?
19th it's still a week before Christmas. Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I mean, we could move it to the following week, but that's very close to your next meeting. I guess we could move it up.
When is Thanksgiving?
November 4th.
The 4th is the night before the election too.
Oh, never mind.
Right, that's correct. When is Thanksgiving this year?
Going to be at church.
Oh, it's,
November just stinks this year.
Wow. Thanksgiving's almost.
I'm personally good with either date.
Yeah.
But I do want to defer to,
Yeah.
Drew and Kathy. Folks, I understand that's a lot going on there, and families and everything, so.
And we can also work to make sure it's a light agenda.
Yeah, I'd be fine with either date.
Me too. I don't see any.
Yeah, Kathy, you set the agenda, so
Right.
you'd be like,
Does
approve the
anybody
minutes,
have
that's
a
it.
motion to accept either? Does anybody have a strong preference? Otherwise, I make a motion to arbitrarily choose November 19th for the November. And just to be clear, if there's some massive issue, we have time until November.
Correct.
To move that meeting, correct? Okay. Then I make a motion to make our November meeting November 19th, 2024. Do I have a second? Vote, please. The date is November 19th for our November.
Okay, thank you.
And the rest, do we need to have a motion to accept the rest of these dates? Or are they set and we're?
I'm sorry, I guess I assumed you were saying making the motion,
Let me
the whole calendar with November 19th.
do this, because I think Kathy shouldn't make the motion.
Oh, that's a good point.
Let me make a motion to accept the meeting dates for fiscal year 2025 as reflected on the June 10th memo from Amy Lannon, however, selecting the November 19th date for November.
So now I'm going to throw a wrench into this, sorry.
Yeah.
Just looking at the calendar, if we go with the 19th, it's only 3 weeks to December 9th.
Yeah. That was the case. Yeah.
That's a very good point.
So maybe if no one cares, we should maybe go with the 13th so that we're evenly spacing them out a little better.
That's a very good point.
Let's do that.
Sorry.
I amend my motion to select the dates on the June 10th memo, selecting Wednesday, November 13th as the November date, and the rest of the dates as presented.
I second.
Well, you could always go with the first Monday of
I second. He'll get the hang of it.
Killing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now you go.
You have to ask for the vote now.
Yes. We have a vote.
Okay.
Vote to accept the
Motion.
motion. Sorry. All those in favor? Look at that.
Right, it passes. Thank you.
Motion carries. Next item on the agenda this evening is the holiday schedule for current year. No, what is CY?
Calendar year, sorry, calendar.
Calendar year 25 holiday schedule.
We set the holidays closings for the next calendar year at this point. I think it's just mostly tradition. There's nothing in the bylaws, but basically it also sets our first and last Sundays open. It establishes all the days that will be closed, days that we will be closing early, and then if one of the major holidays falls on a Saturday or Sunday, we figure out how we're going to handle that. Again, this is 2025. There's nothing unusual about that particular year. Veterans Day is on a Tuesday. Traditionally, we close the Wednesday before Thanksgiving at 1 p.m. Traditionally, we close the Christmas and New Year's Eve at 1, unless it's on a Sunday or something like that. And those are just traditional. You all set the open hours. But I will say that if you ask us to be open on a holiday, we have to pay people double time.
So what we're looking at here doesn't deviate from what we did in 20.
Correct.
What about an all-staff day? I thought that was.
We do close that, but we don't, that's a moving target, so we don't pick that. This year, it's going to be October 4th, and then we just let you guys know. By the way, it's October 4th.
Everything I asked.
It probably is, because I would have forgot to tell you till September. But this year, it's October 4th. We used to do it in the spring.
Okay.
These are the holiday closings.
The only thing I have is a point of order at the bottom. It says approved June 10th.
Oops.
Hasn't been?
No, well,
Doesn't matter.
I put that in there because that's what gets sent to I have to send it to somebody, to the town manager.
Perfect.
Send that in the meeting,
Thank you.
meeting schedule.
I move we accept the schedule as presented.
Second?
we have a vote? All those in favor? Motion carries 6.
All right.
Next, always financial report.
Financial report. Okay. Remind myself, we still have money. We're spending down the fiscal year 24. This is a very exciting time of the year where we check our munis every single day. We will definitely be turning back salary money, but we do try to spend down our expenses on important things, particularly the materials are important. And so we're in good shape. Megan tracks this pretty much every day with Jamie and me. So we have our year-end close. There'll be at least, well, we can send you out. I think you have a sheet of when the warrants are. There'll be at least one round in July that will be, you'll have 2 warrants. One will be for FY24, so invoices that came in dated prior to June 30th. And then you'll have some that are actually July 1st and onward. So those are 2 things we keep very separate. And then Sharon won't close the actual fiscal year until probably late August or early September. But we'll work on making sure that we have all the materials, expenses, and that's the priority. So we had a couple of nice donations, specifically the Lions Club, who regularly gives us money for Braille and visually impaired services. Sometimes that's large print. Lately, it's been to getting the Braille story walks published. So that we're very thankful to the Lions for that and appreciate their continued support. I have nothing to report on FY25 or FY26 unless somebody has questions about it. All right.
Just a quick, probably silly question on the state aid section.
Yes.
Where the balance is negative. Why is that? Like material?
Oh, because they go to the right. Because we don't budget money in there, we debit from the revenue line. So that's what the balance is.
Thank you.
Yep. We just get a lump sum. And we can add lines to that. So for example, and I'm not suggesting at all that we do this, some libraries use that line for things like salaries, like money for things. You could add that. What you don't see is we do have lines in there should we need it for books and materials. You'd see more lines there, adult books. But it's just basically, it's a little savings fund for us to use.
Makes sense. Thank you.
All right. The lockers are back up and working.
Saw it.
We are working on some signage for that because it is not, I don't think, personally evident that you have to lift.
You know, it
again.
looks like it's shut down.
I know, yes. So we're going to be working with our crafty staff, and there'll be some hand embroidered thing that says, lift here to begin. But we'll get that working. The staff have been, it's a slow, soft relaunch, I think, because we want to make sure the staff are familiar with, are retrained on everything that needs to be done, make sure all the software is up to date, blah, 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 blah. But we're very excited to have it going. Have our regular stats. I just a second to, if you haven't been there, have you been up to the second floor? You have to go up to the children's room. It is absolutely smashing. I kind of said this in the narrative, but this really started in 2022, and Kate Zanino sat down with me, or we were sitting on a chair. She said, let me ask you a question. Like, could we just paint that wall, like maybe a different color? I was like, yeah, why do you want to do that? Like, well, we just want to create this whole space that would be, for just this age group because, and anyway, she proceeded to explain to me why she wanted to paint a wall and maybe move some furniture in there. So then we thought, well, we have a lot of financial support for our young people in town, and the NIGRO Foundation stepped forward, and we're just so pleased. It's really evolved into something really unique, really special. I'm just so pleased with it. It's comfortable. The amount of sensory and learning diversity that's in there for kids of that age, which is really just very essential. it's beautiful and it's perfect and it really ticks a lot of boxes and I think it's just something really to be proud of. So it's a really team effort with a lot of different people.
It looks fantastic. And I did see Kate at Lions Day. Kate and Lucy were working the library tent. And a few tweens have already policed the space to let them, the parents or other sibling, like, know that this is
Sure.
the tween
Not for
space.
you.
This is
That's
a
awesome.
special spot. So,
Yes.
and when I went up there to look at it, there were like 3 kids, tweens, already just laying out there.
And there's no technology in there. It really is just to hang out, look at books.
I'll tell you the quality, just feeling that the chairs, the seating, the little pads, so other than looking awesome, they look like they're going to hold up.
I think so, yeah. So I'm very, very pleased with that. So it's been a long time coming, but very well worth the wait, I think.
Awesome.
Albert already mentioned Juneteenth. Andrea mentioned Summer Sizzlers and the speaker series. So that's basically sort of the whole summary of the director's report. Tonight is the first night of exam cram. We've been doing a lot of community partnerships. I only mentioned one of them, but Susan and Elizabeth were down at the Pleasant Street Center Health Fair. We I guess Andrea already mentioned we're doing something with the YMCA. We were doing something with the coalition. So it's been really great. Our work with Solstice House is going great guns. We're actually doing programs over there for that audience. So Susan's been working very hard on that. So I think I think we're seeing a lot more of RPL outside in the community, not even necessarily leading the way, just sometimes having a supporting, helping hand kind of role, which is really nice to see. Albert mentioned Sophia Ortons, who's our new intern. She goes to Wesleyan and she is a 2023 RMH graduate. Andrea's been here for 12 years. And Ashley and Suzanne Sullivan, who's one of our subs, has been here for 7, and Ashley's been here for 18. We're a little unclear whether that includes her, what do I call it, sabbatical. She had a little sabbatical. So, and also finally, our children's librarian, Emma Huchert, is moving on, and we wish her well. But that also means that we are hurriedly posting a new job for our children's librarian. But I think we'll be good. We have a great staff. We're kind of used to rolling with this, and it's a great place to work. So I'm sure we'll get some really great applications.
How many weeks did we have without having to be in the recruiting cycle?
Actually, a few months, actually a while. I think actually since Sarah Kelso came on.
For mid-November.
Yeah.
All right.
And she was out with COVID, but then.
Yeah.
Yeah, December.
December, yeah, I think, yeah.
Okay.
That's really actually pretty good. It was very exciting. Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah, and I think it's just the natural state of things. And as usual, I'm just always gobsmacked by the diversity of education. And this is, I can't explain to you, like, this is selected. Now, sometimes you'll see something that obviously at 2024 MLA conference, we had 9 or 10 people who actually attended that. So that's on there once, but 9 or 10 people attend. So sometimes 2 or more people do the same program, but even then, there's many more programs or continuing education that the staff does. I think you'd be hard pressed to find another department that does as much continuing education. And it's a culture and a model that we're very proud of. Is that something that we encourage in our staff at all levels? So that's it. It was. May was a hugely busy month, but it was just really big stuff that was really busy with. I think the MLA took a big part of that. Conference took a big part of that. And, reviews, we got everybody's review in. 30-something reviews all into town hall on time for June 1st. Everybody will be getting their step and COLA. We're pleased about that. Is that it?
Amy, one of the things I noticed, I'm always impressed by the amount as well as the topics of the professional development that people are participating in. I did notice that from the financial report perspective that we were significantly above the budget for professional development. which I think is money well spent, and I'm sure we could afford it, and it came from other places where it wasn't being spent. I'm just curious if you adjusted that specific line item in the budget for the coming fiscal year to acknowledge that we're spending more money on it.
I did, it's fiscal year 25, I did not. This year was bigger because we had PLA, and we knew it was going to be bigger. But if you remember in the supplemental spending report, that it was recommended to, I think it was an additional $5,000 or $6,000 from another form, could be state aid, could be gifts. What's happened is our expenses were so low, we were underspending. So rather than default back to state aid or gifts, I defaulted to spending it out of the municipal funds.
Okay.
So what might happen is that we might end up spending some of those state aid or gifts on materials if we run over on materials or supplies. But we actually came in so far, I think, Megan, under in both office supplies and library supplies, which I'm very proud of. It's the thing we're trying to get under control, the supply budget. So that's why it looked that way.
Okay.
That's the hardest part about the supplemental spending, is because we know that the nugget municipal, we know we want to supplement the municipal budget. I just don't know when each of those lines are going to run out. So like my best guess is that it would be state aid or gifts.
Okay, totally fine. Like I said, I think it's money very well spent.
Yeah.
Want to make sure we're allowing for it.
Yes.
What was PLA?
That's the Public Library Association. It's part of the American Library Association. It only happens every other year. We usually try to send 1 or 2 people there. It's about the only national conference. Sometimes we send people to American Library Association, but I think we send more people to the Public Library Association because it's a smaller subset, and Andrea went this year, and I think will tell you that it's hugely useful. That's what I'm saying.
Wonderful. Thank you, Amy. Anything else on that topic? Questions, comments? If not, we move on to approval of the May 13th, 2024 meeting minutes, which I'd like to comment about the extremely detailed RMLD EV charger update section. That was wonderful. I was trying to explain to somebody that, and I read it, and was like, my God, I think this is more detailed than the entire presentation.
Kudos to Megan.
Yes, as usual.
Does anyone have any questions, concerns, changes, updates?
I'll move to accept the minutes.
Second.
Do we have a second? We have a vote, please. All those in favor? Motion carries 6-0. Next, we have future agenda items. I see A as July items. Do we have anything specifically for July?
Yes, Maura Didi should be presenting. I think she will be remote. I don't know if she'll be here at remote, actually. But she will be presenting she'll be presenting FY26 to FY30 strategic plan that she has been working on with various groups of people. We're in the final stretch of that. We hope to have 2 meetings before that time. First, to review and finalize the content of the strategic plan. And then second will be to figure out what actually gets presented, how it gets presented to the Board of Trustees. At the July meeting, that strategic plan can just be reviewed. It can be voted on. It can also be voted on in August if you just want to, take it home and read it for a little while and kind of see if you have any suggestions or changes. But that would be the bulk of the July meeting. And obviously, anyone could talk to Cappy if they have an agenda item.
Other, I know, Mr. Egan, you had talked about the email account, so I guess we don't need that an agenda item, correct?
No, just the logistics.
That appears to be it. Everyone. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Second.
And can we have a vote?
Yay!
Thank you.